Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for August of 2019. For you, Capricorn, this month is going to begin with a lot of activity in the sign of Leo, which means your eighth house, and that means going deep, digging deep, investigating deep, and feeling deep. And as the month goes on, you're going to find all of that eighth house energy is going to shift into a ninth house energy. So it'll be like a deepening followed by an expansion. Julia, what are your thoughts about this? Can you tell us some of the details?
Sure. Well, hey, Capricorn and Capricorn rising. So for the first half of the month, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on your eighth house, as Jamie was referring to. And the eighth house is the house of transformation. It's also the house of shared resources, historically and in traditional astrology. But what that means, especially from a relationship standpoint, because Venus, the planet of beauty, art, and relationships, as well as Mars, the planet of activity and passion, which certainly does come up in relationships, begin this month in the eighth house. And that really means that, if you with your partner, there's going to be a really strong urge to merge with them on so many different levels, physically, spiritually, even financially a little bit too. And then when Venus moves into your ninth house on the 21st, and Mars goes into your ninth house too a few days earlier on the 17th, it's going to have a much more lighthearted feel. If you're single and traveling, especially at the end of the month, you could have a romance either on your trip or if you're going abroad. And as Mars moves into the ninth house too, you're going to be very motivated to try to expand your horizons in some way, whether that means learning something new, going somewhere new. There might be a possibility of having to kind of also defend your beliefs too, because the ninth house also rules beliefs, and Mars can be kind of a feisty, sort of fighting planet. But yeah, Natha, what do you see this month?
Well, I want to talk about Mercury. So Capricorn, Mercury is going to start in your seventh house. And so we're going to be looking at probably more relationship conversations, discussing the way that you feel about things. And I know that this is starting to feel old, but it's really valuable still because Mercury retrograde it just ended. So just know that have some patience, really finalize anything that you really need to talk about in terms of your relationships. And the energy will lighten up around August 11th as it enters Leo, although for you, Leo is in your eighth house, and Pluto does rule the eighth house. So again, these themes, like what Julia was talking about, of intimacy and honesty and depth, there's still going to be a driving factor. But I think that Leo will bring a little bit of sort of a sense of a fun and lively drama to it all, thank goodness. And then finally, at the very end of the month, Mercury is going to enter Virgo, which is your ninth house, and it's going to bring you into being able to communicate with a little bit more preciseness. That's a word. And it will complement the Venus and Mars activity in your ninth house too. Something that Jamie said before we began our recording was that Jupiter was going direct in your 12th house, and she said that this is a really good invitation for you Capricorn risers to have some fun. Whoa, fun, imagine that. So I think that the stuff moving into your ninth house is going to really complement that too. And I know, Jamie, you have more to say.
Yeah, I really like that that bit about Jupiter in the 12th house there. I think my phrase was Capricorn have some damn fun because the 12th is the house of retreat. And it's the house of things that we put behind us that we don't really want to look at. And from a Capricorn's point of view, when you're a hardworking, ambitious person, then fun looks like something you've got to put behind you. But it's also a place of rest and solace. And so when Jupiter goes direct this month, around the middle of the month, I think, yeah, have some damn fun, Capricorn. Another interesting piece is that Uranus, which is traveling along through your fifth house, over a long-term period of about 7 years, it's going to be turning retrograde this month. And Uranus passing through the sign of Taurus is bringing a lot of themes of change in the realm of finance and money, changing our relationship to money. Now, this is something that's pretty important to you, Capricorn, and the fifth house is generally a place of expansion. But Uranus is going to be throwing a monkey wrench into it, I think. and causing you to sort of take a step back, take a little more objectivity and distance, and reconsider how do you manage your money, and what does it mean to you, and how can you have fun with it and expand with it, but without getting into trouble. So then we have a couple of lunations. We have got a full moon in Aquarius happening. Oh gosh, guys, when is that full moon happening?
It's happening on the 15th.
Yes, on the 15th, so just a couple of days before where I have this set. It's in Aquarius, right here in your second house, which just is a continuation of those themes about money that I was talking about with Uranus and Taurus. The second house being the house of finances, of money, of things that make you feel physically secure and safe, and a full moon being a time of emotion, of sometimes waves of emotion passing through. Now, Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, so really in a way you've got a double theme here, it requires really that objectivity and distance. It says this month you may feel a surge of emotions, and you may have to go into a very mental place and solve those like a puzzle. So later in the month, on the 30th, we have got a new moon. And this one is going to really cement those Virgo themes that are coming up at the end of the month here in your 9th house. And I think one thing that we often forget about Virgo, Virgo has this reputation for being hardworking, perfectionistic, meticulous, and sort of picking on oneself and others, very critical. But Virgo, and we often forget this, Virgo from the point of view of Capricorn is actually expanding. It's expansive. It feels good to Capricorn. So this grouping of planets in Virgo, which is basically about, all the Virgos of the world are having their birthday at the end of August. This is kind of like saying, hey, Capricorn, why don't you find some really competent Virgos, turn some stuff over to them, and take a load off for once. And really the weakness, I think, of Capricorn is that Capricorn wants to manage a business, wants to be on top of the heap, but isn't always that good at delegating. This is absolutely the month to find a competent, hardworking, meticulous Virgo to take some of the burden off of your shoulders. Well, that's what we have for you today, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed it. Check back with us next month for your horoscope. And we at Pandora Astrology salute you, and we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.